Justin, what's going on? I'm excited about this. Miami's going to get started with an exhibition game. Teams are allowed to have two leading up to the season. Miami's going to open its regular season on November 6th, but teams are allowed to have two. Sometimes they'll do an exhibition game. Sometimes it's a secret scrimmage, two of each, or one-on-one. And Miami split it. They had that secret scrimmage against Florida. So they're going to do that exhibition game against TCNJ on Sunday. Exhibition games are tough, Justin. We're each going to discuss kind of what we're looking forward to seeing the most, kind of what the biggest takeaway can be, because obviously you're expecting Miami to win big. You know, they'll obviously overwhelm their opponent is what you're looking for, obviously. Just what's your take on this? Miami's ranked number 13 in the preseason polls, number 2 in the ACC. A lot of excitement. Miami's usually not that high in either one, but maybe what you're looking forward to seeing the most with the exhibition game.
Yeah, definitely. Chris, thanks for having me back. So I heard some exciting things out of the scrimmage. I'm sure you have some more information you'll get into, but I heard good things. And as far as the exhibition game goes, like you said, they are tough. It's the first real game of the season. I know we've had our challenges in exhibition games against schools that we shouldn't struggle against, but it's the first time getting it all together. So hopefully we don't see any struggles, but if we do, I don't think that's that abnormal. For me, I would say it's kind of cliche, but I really am looking to see Wooga take that big step that everyone is saying he should take. So I heard he was phenomenal in the scrimmage. Maybe you'll touch on that. I wasn't there, but that's what I would like to see. I mean, he's had an amazing summer. We've seen good reports from their Europe trip, from the scrimmage. Now, when it's a real game with fans, people watching, let's see him take that next step. And I think he will.
You know, one thing that I think that's fun about Wooga is he's delivered in these moments leading up to it. It's not just, oh, we thought, he finished strong last season. He was gaining momentum. And then we're all kind of waiting and seeing and hoping. Look, the France trip, I think, was huge. I think if he's gonna have this successful season, like we all think, like me and you, we've talked about this, Justin. He's the key. He's who we think will be the best player. I had an all ACC preseason vote and actually had Wooga, with ahead of those other guys in Pat and Omier. I just think he's going to have a big year. And I think what's happening in that France trip, leading the team in scoring, watching him in scrimmages. Yeah, he had. So just kind of summarize for people that didn't watch it before. I went to a full scrimmage. Is basically the starters versus the backups. Is white versus orange. The way they split it up, they go 20 minutes. So all the starters played the whole 40 minutes, and then the other team had 6 players who played. So, and Wooga led all scores, 31 points. I forgot to mention, Justin, you'll like this. I forgot to mention in that report afterwards, and I was thinking about, I knew we were going to do this video, and I wanted to throw this in there. Wooga had a lot of impressive plays. Again, 31 points, led all scores, but he did the inbounds pass off the opponent's back to get a layup underneath the basket. It was pretty funny. It happened really quick and got 2 points that way. So I just want to make mention of that because he had the dunks, the threes, mid-range pull-up, as we all expect. But just to see him do that, it's just a guy beaming with confidence and certainly looking forward to seeing. Hopefully he's out there. I know he's kind of been dealing with a little bit of injury. I don't know if they're going to slow play him and not play, that kind of a thing, but certainly full health. I don't expect it to be a major thing because when I've seen him out there, there's times where he'll not be in a drill, but then he practices later that day or even just a couple of days later. So it's just been kind of in and out with him. So I think he's fine. I know he's excited. His teammates are excited about him. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, the out of bounds play, that's all confidence right there. So happy to hear that. We need some quick hits out of bounds too. So I don't know if we'll see that during the season, but that's exciting. Yeah, I mean, look, all reports are good. I'm hoping to see him take that big jump in the exhibition game.
Just to add again with Nigel Pack on Media Day, I asked him about Wooga because I find this fascinating. Justin, you've been on teams before in terms of dynamics. And even Jim said, I don't know who's going to be our first or second leading scorer. But all these guys, with Matt, Norchad, and Nigel, they've all led their teams in scoring. And I find that, in terms of basketball roles, it's so important. I talk about it all the time. I feel like that's the one thing or one of the major things that Jim has done so well over his time at Miami is players have roles and they really excel in that. And I asked Nigel essentially, promoting Wooga or making him feel confident that he can, be a top scorer, be one of the top guys. because again, he was the fifth leading scorer last year. So for him essentially to be one of the top guys or the top guy this year. And Nigel just said, look, it's the work that he's been putting in. He's a hard worker. They see it. So it seems very evident. And I think too, watching these guys, they won games last year based on not really worried about individual stats, individual accolades. And I think that's led to their success. And I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think sometimes with some teams it can be, but I don't find that. I feel like they're ready to essentially promote Wooga to whatever he's going to be this year. And they know he can certainly bring a lot. And you throw the basketball out there, scrimmage situation drills, Wooga's shining essentially, whether it's France, whether it's some preseason stuff. So there's a lot to like about Wooga's game. I think the rest of the ACC is certainly either aware of him, but I don't think it's going to take long for them to see it. And obviously the big game coming up later in November at Kentucky is going to be a huge spotlight for him.
Yeah. One funny story about just having guys like that have all led their teams in scoring and figuring out the new dynamics and how to bring it all together. When I was on the team at Miami, I remember Coach Larinaga, probably around this time, right before the season started, he gave everyone a piece of paper and asked everyone to put down what they think would be an appropriate amount of shots for them to average in the season. And by the time everyone came back, he's like, guys, if we took this many shots, it would be an NBA record. Everyone thinks they should shoot, 8, 10, 12. So he's really, really good at getting everybody to buy in and restructure that and have the right balance. I do think Wooga and Nigel and Northhead will probably take the most shots, but it's not going to be what they think and what they're maybe used to doing. So he's the best at getting guys to play together and find that balance and stay within their role. So it'll be interesting, but I do think he emerges as hopefully as the star.
For anybody who's watched my videos, whether it's after practice recaps or media day, whatever it's been leading up to the season or the articles I've written on InsideTheU.com, it should be no surprise what I'm most looking forward to seeing on Sunday in that exhibition game, and that's freshman Kesan George. I can't rave about him enough. He's just really impressive. I don't feel like a lot of people have caught on how good he is. I know he was essentially stashed away. He was playing in France. I feel like, in Europe, he's playing over there. He did play with the team in France on the exhibition trip. He didn't have a huge scoring number there. So maybe people are a little uncertain as a recruit. He committed to Miami as an unranked prospect, and he is now a three-star. He was a three-star recruit by the time it finished up. But anyways, in that scrimmage, I saw him perform. And again, I saw him in practice. He just does really well. He's a really impressive player. And I asked the players about him, what they think of him. And I think Wooga gave the best response. Wooga was listening to me ask a question and essentially straight faced. And then when he was answering it, he smiled real big like Wooga does. He's like, oh, he's nice. So, they love him. It's easy to see. He scored 23 points, 7 of 10 from field goals that game, 4 for 7 from 3, made all 5 of his free throws, had 9 assists. Could have had more. Some shots didn't fall for guys, 4 rebounds and a steal. He's just really impressive. Again, he's 6'8". You're going to see it. It's not going to look like, oh, is he he's taller than Matthew Cleveland. He's taller than Norchad Omier. I think he's right there with Nwako. I asked Kesan that he felt like he's grown an inch over the summer. So he can play point guard. He can play 1 through 3. He can defend. He's just a really impressive player. And I think what's going to happen is I think he's going to shine early in this first month. And I think you're going to start looking at some lineup stuff. They're going to start with Bensley Joseph. There's no doubt about that. But, in terms of fit, and I think Keyshawn's going to come off the bench to start out. I think he's going to be their best reserve. I think he's going to be that 6th man and kind of rotate in there. But I think it'll be interesting to see how he kind of gets integrated in with that first unit. And that's one of the things I'll be watching for in the exhibition game.
I think that's a really interesting point. I've been hearing similar about how great he looks, and that gives me a lot more confidence because last time we spoke, I mentioned how I'm a little uneasy about Nigel and Bensley in the backcourt. I think they're both great at what they do, but having 2 smaller guards is a big difference from having someone like Wong. Maybe he's not that much taller, but just the poise that he demonstrated. So I'm hearing the same as what you said. bring in Kesan, and he can play the point, he can play the two. So having him kind of rotating in the backcourt, I think is a big help. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun for Miami fans, kind of just seeing this next wave of freshmen, and I think Michael Nwako is going to be a guy that's going to be really exciting to watch too. He's going to be that backup five, can do some things. He also performed well in that scrimmage that I saw there, and Norch had said, about these freshmen, and he quickly said, look, I don't want to discredit last year's freshmen, but he feels like this group is better. They're more aggressive. And I think you see that with Nwako and then George. And I think those are going to be your 6-7 guys in the rotation. I think they've shown more than what, for example, a Christian Watson and AJ Casey, even at this point. I think those will be your top guard off the bench, your top post player. And I think that'll be kind of your 9 with Watson and Casey mixing in. And then also you still have Ja'Kai Robinson coming along and also Paul Jobé. But I think that's kind of, you're looking at 9 right now in terms of rotation. But again, I just think Keyshawn's going to be able to do a lot for this team. I think he's going to make a huge impact. I know we're going to see it in a few days, and we'll see how it goes. And certainly freshmen or guys coming off the bench, it's hard to score a bunch of points all the time. So I think there'll be some games where obviously he won't score a bunch or do a lot because of his role. Kind of what you're saying, Justin, about you're not going to be able to shoot a bunch of times every time you step out on the floor, with every player. But I just think Keisha, it's not going to take long at all. And I think he's kind of one of these sleeping freshmen in the ACC in terms of rookie of the year type things. And I know there's some other guys with some roles. I think Cadeau, he got that preseason vote. That was my vote for it as well, and a lot of people. But in terms of other freshmen in the ACC, there's no reason why George can't be one of the top 5. I just think he could be that good in comparison, in particular with the rest of the guys in the ACC.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I haven't really seen him play much, but been hearing great things. Still want to see what Casey and Watson bring to the table. I feel like based on Coach L's track record, they'll get the first stab at things, coming back and not being true freshmen anymore. But like you said, those freshmen are showing a lot. So if the rotation changes quick, that wouldn't be a surprise either. But I'm excited to see it.
All right, Justin, looking forward to the exhibition game. Looking forward to this season, talking to you about the Hurricanes basketball program. I know you had high hopes last year for the team. I did too. We both said that we thought they could be a top 2 team in the ACC. You had them winning last year. I went with second, and certainly they had a great year, definitely better than what they were picked to do at 4th. So exciting year, another exciting year again this year. Really looking forward to seeing how this thing plays out, but it still looks a little different, just not seeing Isaiah out there and Jordan as well. So, but yeah, should be another great season. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, definitely. We got to do those predictions again this year. I mean, now we're not coming under the radar. They got us, I think, finishing second. So we'll see, but appreciate you having me and looking forward to another exciting Cane season.